Hey, so this is Echo Chernik, one of my most favorite artists in the world. She does some wonderful renditions of beautiful ladies and recently collaborated with Patrick Rothfuss on The Name of the Wind playing cards. So that was really amazing. And I've got her on now talking a little bit about what's happening with the COVID-19 impact on the artists and the creative community. So, Echo, how's this impact the creative community? Hey.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on. I'll tell you a little bit about myself for people that don't know. My name's Echo Chernik, and my work's at echochernik.com. And I have been a working illustrator for 27 years now. For most of my career, I've been a commercial illustrator. Like you said, I did work with Patrick Rothfuss, as well as Miller, Camel Corps, NASCAR Trek. And over the last 6 or 7 years, I've started going more freelance and doing my own projects as well, which has been exciting, more fine art, fantasy art projects. So now that that's out of the way, how has this affected the artist? So I've been, like I said, I've been a professional artist for 27 years. So I've seen a lot of ups and downs. I've seen 9/11. I've seen, the economy go up and down and it affect artists. This is definitely new and a bigger global impact on artists. First of all, freelancers don't usually get sick days. And we don't get unemployment. So when work stops, it just stops. And it can be really, really scary for artists because all of a sudden you don't have a cushion. It's just, money to no money. So, and especially if you're not super established, it can be pretty terrifying. So a lot of artists right now are facing problems where they, if you're a musician, you don't have a gig, you can't go out and play music to crowds because there can't be any crowds. Myself and a lot of the other artists do conventions during the summer, and this is right at the beginning of convention season. So they've already canceled Emerald City Comic Con and moved it to August. There's a couple others that are being delayed or pushed off, or sort of we're not really sure what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going on with this virus, if it's going to, how long it's going to last in the summer. So it's definitely going to impact the entire con season. And there's a lot of visual artists that rely on the con season to make money.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because I go to SakuraCon and that's, in limbo of like, okay, what are we doing, guys? And that's probably going to be canceled is what I'm thinking at this point.
And it's inconvenient for the fans and it's upsetting. But everybody that I've seen so far has been doing a really good job of just, being calm about it. It's disappointing sometimes because you're losing your convention you want to go and you want to see your favorite artist and you want to play and stuff, but it's definitely better that it's put off because we don't want this virus to spread and make everyone sick. So
obviously we don't want everyone to get sick, but there's the financial implications and it's hitting everyone. The people I know who are being hit hardest are those in creative professions who don't have a lot of cushion and all that. So what sorts of things can people do to support the art community during this time?
Well, first of all, to say to the artists, if you're an artist and you're facing this, it's really scary. So just take a breath and know that you're not the only one that's going through this. The whole world's going through this right now. So artists just reach out to your fans and communicate and work on projects you've been wanting to work on, and you're going to have to come up with an alternate way to let fans know how to support you, because fans really want to support you. They want you to keep making art. They like your art. There's they want you to help. So artists need to make sure that they're available. Fans, if you don't help the artists make get through this time, they're not going to be able to make more art. So ways to support artists. A lot of artists are going on to the virtual conventions that are online. There's several of them now. I'm not sure if there's a forerunner, but I know there's a bunch of them. There's an Emerald City Comic Con alternate one. I don't know if there's a SakuraCon alternate one or not, but they're putting up virtual artist alleys a lot of times with discount codes to their online store, their convention exclusives. Definitely, if you like an artist, go buy something from them, because that makes a big difference, even if it's only a little thing. Or if you can't buy anything, just spread word. Say, hey, this is one of my favorite artists, and they're having this great sale on their store. Buy this. Myself, I launched a Patreon that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've been focusing all my efforts on the Patreon because I can do that here in remote, and just keep putting content up. Everybody's stuck at home anyway, so just look and see what your favorite artist is doing, and then just help support them the best you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, thank you. That's great, and that's really just reaching out to those people and the artists who are in your sphere of people you follow on Facebook or other social media platforms.
And share their information. I mean, if you can't, like I said, if you're in a situation where you can't help them financially, just share, support them. It's it's challenging.
Cool.
But we'll get through this. It'll be fine.
We'll get through this. I think we'll be fine. It's scary for the immediate future right now.
It's definitely going to impact for, I don't know how long, but it's going to impact over the entire summer's worth of conventions. No matter how long it lasts, just because people have to make their plans change, and it's just, like a lot of, like, for instance, Emerald City Comic Con was a show that we usually use to make all of our product for the summer. So because we lost that, I mean, luckily I have product, but other people, if they're in the same situation, if they're relying on that to make a bunch of product or relying on Sakura Con to make a bunch of product, now they're like, oh no, what am I going to do the rest of the summer? I don't have the funds I need to keep going. So definitely check out their Kickstarters or their GoFundMes as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So that's the GoFundMes and Kickstarters. I know that you are very based in digital medium. That is, you develop a lot of your images, not using physical. Of course, it's physical, but images on the computer is how you make your beautiful art. So does that give you any advantage versus more traditional oils and pastels artists? Or
actually, I do both. My commercial work is mostly digital. I've done a lot of my own personal pieces digitally, and behind me I have some oil paintings that I'm working on. I do pen and ink and oils as well. Does it give me an advantage? I don't think so, because nowadays in the digital age, people can share their images online it's just as easily. You don't need the physical gallery as much in order to succeed. Right now we don't have the physical gallery space to go hang the art in because the conventions aren't there, but you can still do it digitally. So, I don't think so. I hope.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's one thing for me is a lot of my friends are also the bulk of their work is in more traditional artistic mediums.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So we've got the con scene, which has sort of been knocked out, and then we've got the financial impact. I've also been seeing sort of the emotional impact with kids staying home from schools, and there's just a lot more to do and a lot less work, paradoxically, this sort of thing is going on.
Well, the rest of you get to know what it's like to be an artist, to be locked in your studio all day long. You get to feel like what it's like to be us. So, because we usually spend the entire day working alone. So, welcome to our world.
Well, that's so hard for me because so personally, I find it very psychologically difficult because I want to have a space devoted to work. So I'm going up on the rooftop or trying to find some place rather than in my room where I can go get something to eat or go make coffee or procrastinate in any of the 10,000 ways you can procrastinate.
Getting a little stir crazy there, huh?
Getting a little bit. So I guess looking forward, we don't know how long this is going to impact the economy and the artists, but do you see any changes that will happen? I mean, obviously this was sort of a pain point that made you get on Patreon and sort of ramp up some of your digital efforts. But
it's definitely going to have an impact on everyone, really, especially on artists. Artists are going to have to adjust the way they work right now in order to get through this. But they have to. One thing I have to say to artists is that remember, it's not you. It's not your art. It's not the reason you don't have work. It's an overall thing. So don't take it personally. Artists are very good at taking things personally. So if people don't support you right now, it's not because they don't want to. It's because they're also struggling through this. So you're gonna have to be a little bit creative. having been an artist that's gone through rough times before in the past, especially, I have to tell you, don't panic. You'll get through this. Look at your bills and look at what you need to do to get through this, and try to figure out what the most important thing is to do. What do you have to achieve? How can you change your art in order to help fans support you more and to get out there? I mean, you might have to change the way you're doing things. For instance, now for me personally, now I know the shows are going to be affected. Even if some of them happen, they're going to be affected.
Yeah.
Period. And they may not happen at all. So I'm doing the Patreon in order to allow a different access of things. Now, for some artists, they may want to do a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, or they may want to do personal projects, where they can just work on their own things. Now, if an artist is going to do a personal project, they should definitely share it online. This is an amazing time where you're stuck at home in your own place, but you have access to the whole world through the internet. So definitely work on your project and show everyone what you're doing, and and let them help you, so you're not alone.
Work on your own project, put it out there. That's great. And we do have
out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we do have the internet now as opposed to like 15 or 20 years ago. So that's one fortunate thing about that.
Yes, we have the internet, which is amazing. I mean, you're home, but you're not necessarily alone, because you can interact with your friends, and you can go online, and you can learn things, and you can watch, YouTubes, and you can watch other artists work. You can artists can stream while they're working in the studio and share. And this is a rare opportunity for people that are stuck at home to actually, interact and see what we're doing. So
yeah, no, the artist streaming idea is cool. Like, I don't actually know any artists that have a Twitch account or something, but that would be sort of cool if an artist, okay, here's what I'm doing, here's how I go through my day, and here's that, that could be sort of cool and interesting.
I have a Twitch account, and I've done some of it, but I keep getting busy with things, so I haven't been able to consistently do it. But now that I have time, maybe I'll see if I can get on there more and actually talk to people as I work. I love to talk to fans while I'm drawing and working. It's fun. It's better than doing it by yourself. So, but definitely check on Twitch and and see what the artists are doing, and get involved with them. So
yeah, cool. That's awesome. It's getting in. I think a lot of it is just putting yourself out there and finding creative ways to keep engaging people.
Yes.
On the platforms and on a variety of tools. So
it's I just keep I keep encouraging artists not to get frozen, if they don't, try not to let it affect your creativity, because it's it's with all this going on, artists are a little bit sensitive, and so we want to encourage them to keep creating and keep sharing everything so that they're working on.
Yeah, I think everyone's taking an emotional hit as well as a financial hit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, but it's definitely different. Just but it's like I said, it's everybody. So we have to work together, and we'll get through this.
Yeah. No, I think we will totally get through this. So I guess here's sort of a little brainstorm type question. So not expecting perfection, but if there are any tools that you could see that would help artists working from home now, or artists who are continually online. I don't know what those would look like, but I'm just curious, more ways to kickstart tiny projects. This is me, I'm just talking off the top of my head, but maybe people would want to chip in, 20 people would want to chip in 25 cents or 50 cents or a few dollars for sketches, sketches or something like that. I don't know. What do you think?
I've done. Yeah, I think doing. You can either for instance, you talked about the Twitch account. You could do sketches online where you have people pitch in what they can for you doing that, or you could sell sketches, or you could do commissions, or like I said, the Kickstarters or the GoFundMes, or there's just so many different platforms out here nowadays, and Patreon, of course. There's so many different platforms nowadays that artists can use, and if this had happened 15 years ago or so, it would be a completely different matter.
Yeah.
So nowadays there's ways, there's ways for everyone to work around it. It's just going to take some figuring out and promoting and talking to your fans. I know Facebook has been blocking some artists that have been looking there's been a couple fundraisers that have been blocked just because of the algorithms or whatever. So
Yeah.
there's some resource links I'm going to send you that both artists can look at, and for patrons, or those are people that want to support the arts, there's a few places that they can also support a little, like a broader audience. There's a couple good GoFundMe's out there. Now there's going to be some scam stuff out there too, so definitely do your research. But I'll try to send you a couple that have proven to be legit. But definitely, even if you support the larger programs, don't forget to support the individual artists, because the individual artists often fall through the cracks when it comes to the larger programs. So for instance, if there's a GoFundMe out there right now that's collecting a bunch of money to help artists in the Seattle area, and it's raised, I don't know, $150,000 so far or something like that, and hopefully more. And I'll send you the link to that. But they've gotten like 700 applications or so. That has to be spread out. So if you have a particular artist, like if you like a musician, or if you like a painter or whatever, just check their site, see what they're doing, and maybe try to give it a little bit to them personally as well, as opposed to just overall, because the overall, it may never reach the ones you like.
Yeah, the overall, and then there's the whole making sure the money actually gets to some of those people, because I'm just on I'm a little skeptical of having another layer of management, even with good intentions, more layers.
Yeah, with good intentions, and with more layers, there's more for it to fall through. And remember that not all artists are very good at promoting themselves. They're trying, but they're not necessarily, they're good at creating art, but they're not so good at promoting themselves. So, as a fan, maybe just try to follow up and be like, hey, are you working on anything special? See if you can, see how they're doing, because artists are notoriously fragile, especially if with all this going on, I'm sure it's had an emotional toll on a lot of people that, we're not even seeing. So.
Yeah. Well, one thing that has continually impressed me about you is basically you keep putting yourself out there, whether it's Facebook or whether it's, you've got a Twitch stream. I know you do these Kickstarters. Like, you're continually working the social media and putting yourself out there. Do you have any concrete tips you would have for other artists who are trying to build their profile or build up their profile?
Oh, I don't even do it. I don't personally think I do it even as well as some artists out there. Some artists are like constantly on social media. I keep getting distracted with work, and I feel like I don't promote as much as I do. So I'm glad you think I do. One thing that I tell artists to do is just promote yourself everywhere. Put a link on, put a link or share your profile in all the different sites. Make a Facebook site. Make a like a LinkedIn site or a Behance site. Just get out there as much as you can. Make comments on things. Get on Instagram, but don't get sucked into spending all your time on there too, because it is a vortex of wanting to go look at other people's art and doing things. And you have to kind of set your hour in the morning, have your coffee, do all your social media stuff. Get involved with other things. So. Mailing lists are important when things pick back up and everything, and the shows are good. I encourage artists to put out a mailing list and encourage people to sign up on their mailing list, because a lot of times people want to support artists that they like, and they're like, oh yeah, I like that person that was at Emerald City, but I don't remember what their name was, but they had that really cool art. And so if you have a mailing list and you can send them an email, they're like, oh yeah, that was the one. I want to support that. I like that. It's good to have a mailing list, especially if you're going to do a Kickstarter, so you could just remind people. Don't blow up their inbox, but just hey, you liked this. You said you liked this. Here you go. So, but I think a mailing list and social media is just really important. So. Yeah,
and I know that I personally love to get emails from artists, because in the past week I've gotten an email from literally every other marketing organization I have ever bought or talked with about COVID-19, even if I'm like, who is this and why are they why is Acme Megacorp emailing me? Come on, artist, send me emails. You're the people I want to talk to and see.
Yes, send an emailing out. Let people know, hey, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. So, I think that I generally, as a personal rule, try to overcome things myself and work. If if I need to overcome something, I'll work on a project and I'll try to like promote it and do a Kickstarter if I need extra funds for something like that. I don't like to go out there too much and do fundraisers as much as like, because I think it's a little bit overused, but right now is the right time to do it. If you need to do a Kickstarter or a fundraiser to make money, do it, because it's okay. because there's medical expenses, there's all these things, and there's all these things that are new. So, if you're a little bit shy about asking for help as an artist, it's okay to ask for help as an artist. But that's what's good about being able to create art, is like you said, you can do a Twitch stream or something where you're actually making something. You're not just asking for for people to support you. You're actually like, okay, listen, I can do these drawings, and you can help me get through this tough time. So yeah.
Yeah, and I on sort of a philosophical note, one of the things that makes me sad is I look at these new apartment buildings all around Seattle, and they're all the same generic building with the white blank walls and no character. And it's a real shame that there's this, like if you want to find a reproduction of Van Gogh's Starry Night, you can find a reproduction of those anywhere. But we've also got really awesome artists who are like alive now and working now and doing cool stuff today. Like, let's support them.
I would say go online while you're stuck at home. Go online to the to some of the Artist Alley links I'm going to send you that are being posted up, and get some art. The prints are affordable. I mean, there's a lot of people that have show specials or sales going on right now. But if you like a piece of art, just buy it. I mean, buy a small print of it, because it helps the artist, and you get to to hang it up on your wall. Like you said, you have big spaces of wall. Or another thing people do if they don't want to put things on their walls, or they don't have enough wall space, is to get a standard size of, a lot of the artists offer 8x10s or 11x17s. Buy one of the portfolio books, and then buy the prints you like, put them in the portfolio book, and put it on your coffee table, and then you can flip through, hey, this is the art that I like, and flip through the portfolio book, because a lot of them offer art at that size, and then it's just like a coffee table book that you've put together of all your favorite things. And that's a great way to support the artist and to show your taste, and there's no framing costs involved. So you can get like a portfolio book just online for like 11x17 prints, and then just buy the prints, put them in there, rearrange them, share them with your friends, and just flip through them when you're feeling down and you need to have them there. And I know a lot of people that have several of these books for like different themes. They'll have like one for beautiful women and one for fantasy animals or whatever. So
cool. And that's obviously way better than saying, oh, here, I want to show you something. Here's my tiny phone image. Do you think you can try and see all the detail on there? So
oh yeah, and like I said, the prints that the artists sell, especially at the Artist Alley sites, they're usually between $10 to $40 or so. So they're not like it's not a huge investment. It's a thing you can collect and support artists, so which is cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Thank you so much for all this advice. Is there anything you wanted to add, or anything else you want to say?
Well, I guess this is a good time for me to post to pitch the Patreon that I'm doing right now.
Hey, go for it.
So I have a new project that I've been wanting to do for a long time. That's a personal project. It's called the XCaliber Project. And it's the Patreon is patreon.com/thexcaliberproject.com, and I'll send it to you so you can put it in the links. And I wasn't planning to really launch it until later this summer as much. So we just, moved that up, and I'm doing it now. So I'm trying to get 500 patrons at $5 each, because that will basically put me at a place where, then I can start to help other people more, because that'll put me at a place where I can spend more time helping other artists, which is what I really want to do. Because after being an artist for 27 years now, I remember what it's like to be early on, and it's like terrifying early on when you're not sure. In the best of times, it's kind of unsure. So I want to try to establish some more so I can help them to get through this time. So.
Yeah, because it's you already have an established body of work, and you're someone. You're pretty awesome. You produce stuff.
You're someone too.
But for a lot of those people out there who are really struggling and just maybe they just graduated from art school or got into this a year or two ago, this is going to hit them harder because they don't have an established fan base, I guess.
They don't have an established fan base, and now without being able to go to shows, it's harder for them to get an established fan base. And it's, like you said, it's an emotional toll as well, because artists tend to take things personally, like, you know, they want to share their art, but everybody's worried so much about this. They're like, you know, they worry about, how am I going to get through? How am I going to get my art out there? How am I going to survive? Why isn't anybody supporting me? It's because they might not be supporting you because they have to support 50 other artists that they love as well. So you'll get through this. It'll be okay. So it's just, it's a trying time for everyone, even established artists. Because I know that, like, for instance, it's affected me because I have a routine. I have in March, I make a certain amount to go to get my stuff together for Gen Con and for Dragon Con and for the summer. And I do a workshop at Illustrators of the Future, which I'll say right now, Illustrators of the Future, the deadline for this quarter is coming up in 10 days or so. So if you're a young artist or an illustrator, definitely take this time to enter art. It's free, doesn't cost anything to enter, and you could win money and a chance to go down and listen to me speak for an entire week at a workshop that, you know, that's dedicated to the winners. But usually I'm doing that this time of year as well. So it's affected new artists and established artists as well. So has it affected the tech, you in the tech industry a lot, or?
So to be honest, no. I'm sure that tech is going to get hit at some point, but, you know, as far like consumer spending is going to go down. Apple took a hit as far as stock price, and I'm sure their earnings are, you know, not going to be up. But as far as tech stuff, everyone's online right now. They're using the internet. They're ordering food with Uber Eats or DoorDash or something, and Amazon Prime is how people. I know I live in tech land, so all my friends are techies, so it's a little hard to see outside. But I think that tech is probably, it's not maybe recession proof, but it's definitely not going to take a hit as hard as other industries.
Yes.
And in fact, Uber Eats is probably going to see a significant increase in business.
Well, restaurants, especially small restaurants, are going to be struggling right now. So if you have a favorite restaurant that you like, I encourage you to order takeout from your favorite restaurant, because they're going to be struggling a lot as well. Small businesses are having difficulties. Luckily, there's a lot of things in place for small businesses that they're trying to push through to get in place to support restaurants and small businesses. The problem with artists is that we tend to fall through those cracks because, you know, we're small businesses, but we're not, you know, like a nail salon or something like that. So we tend to kind of, you know, not be considered the same. We're like different. So there are some ways to help artists out there, but they're not, you know, but not the same as the small businesses.
Yeah, and I guess that for most artists, there's sort of a lack of visibility. Because like I've got a restaurant on the corner I like going to, I walk by it, location. With artists, the location proximity is sort of if they come up in my Facebook feed, or if they, you know, if they
which is why you our tech people are so important. So right now, so you're the god at this age.
Well, we're trying to use our powers for good, is all. So, and like, for all my ability to write code and stuff, I just look at beautiful art and I'm like, damn, that's awesome. Like,
I know, and I have to create beautiful women. I have to paint beautiful women all day. It's a tough job, but you know, someone has to do it. It's okay. We'll get through it. So, figure models, I've noticed, are also having a problem because they usually go out and they pose for artists to draw, and a lot of them are turning to posing online and stuff because they can't go to the groups right now. So a lot of them are like, whoa, my work, you know. So
yeah, no, that's right after college. Actually, I was doing some of that figure modeling. I've had a serendipitous life, but that was one of the things I got into. And
I did that in college, you know. So.
It's fun. It was definitely a hand-to-mouth existence of getting, you know, $60 here and this there and stuff. And So they're taking a hit.
I did it different in college. In college, we had a group of people that would, a group of us artists that would paint and work all day, and then at night we still didn't have enough. So a group of us would get together and draw each other. So in order to draw, in order to join the secret group, you had to pose nude the first time, and then you could be in the secret group. So, and then we just drew each other at night. So I didn't actually get paid for that. You know, that was more of like a secret society, naked friend drawing group.
This is Artists Fight Club, and if it is your first night, you will pose.
You won't pose. You must be naked. The first night I posed, it was the night they were learning to draw planes, like flat parts of the body. I am very curvy. I don't have any flat parts. And they're like, yeah, go. Thank you for posing on planes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have any flat parts. So anyway, we're getting off subject a little bit, but yeah, no, artists are very, being a figure model is very hand to mouth, and it's important. It is hard. It's a lot harder than it looks. I mean, you just think, oh, they're just sitting up there and sitting still. It's hard. It's hard to sit still, and if you sit in the wrong pose, it can get kind of painful after a while. If you know, it's amazing how much not moving your thumb can actually hurt after 15, 20 minutes. You know, you've done it.
I've done it, and it, God, I've got this whole chunk of my brain devoted to things like, okay, correct the posture and make sure everything is aligned so that in 20 minutes it's not, because if it hurts you a little bit now, in 20 minutes, that's going to be like terrible.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, this is, you know, we're trying to support artist friends and including the models and photographers, everybody else who's being affected. Everyone's being affected. It's a party for everyone. So
party for everyone. Yeah.
Party for everyone. Long-term effects. Let's talk about that for a minute. You know, nobody really knows how this is going to affect things like, you know, long-term. It's definitely going to affect businesses, and hopefully there'll be, you know, most businesses will be able to get through it, and we don't know. They don't know how long the virus is going to be around. They don't know if it's going to last through the summer or if it's going to taper off like the flu. Just, you know, it's definitely going to impact for a while, especially the artists. You're going to have to keep supporting them for a bit. Hopefully artists will adapt and change and use more online venues to sell things and to keep out there. The Patreon model is really good because you can subscribe every month. Because if, for instance, if you subscribe to a Patreon for an artist, even if it's $5 a month or $2 a month or, you know, something like that, that adds up after a while. So, and that's a steady source of income that the artist can count on, which is really nice. So if you have like an extra $2 or an extra $5 and you're like, hey, yeah, I can afford a coffee, I'm going to send that to my favorite artist. If they have a Patreon, do that, because then now they have, say, I don't know, 100 people on their Patreon that are sending them $5 a month. That's, you know, that's enough for them to be able to count on that $500 a month to be like, okay, I can use that to pay my rent or car or whatever. And they know that they can count on that money, as opposed to trying to sell commissions or sell art where you never really know what'll sell and what's not going to sell and what you can expect for the next one. It's a stable base to work on everything else from. You like, an artist will know, okay, I'm getting $500 this month, and now whatever prints I sell on top of that, I can use to pay off this and this and this and this. So that stable base is important. So if you, one thing you can do as a art lover is to go find a Patreon, and even if it's only $1, $2, $5, you know, support them. You can cancel after this whole crisis is done, but at least it'll give them a survivable like plateau to a solid ground.
I've also personally found it much easier to work on projects when there's a psychological threshold of it's okay, like the basics are covered, you know, because when there's that, it's good to have a deadline and a little bit of fear, but if that's like chronic anxiety sort of stuff, that's really bad for productivity and I think high quality art and getting that stuff out.
Yeah, especially since artists are usually a little bit anxious anyway. That's what, you know, inspires us to keep going and making great things, is that you know, pressure to be better and be better and be better. But yeah, having a little bit of, you know, okay, my rent's covered. Okay, I'm not going to end up on the street. This is good. You know, that's important for artists. So if they have a Patreon or something and you can only throw them $1 a month, throw them $1 a month. So and that'll help them feel secure enough to be able to create more art. So, because it makes them feel less alone as well. It makes them feel like, hey, you know, I have 100 people that believe in me. So yeah, I can do this. I can create more art. So, you know, it's definitely even that dollar just shows them that you love what they're doing. Keep doing it. So
yeah, it's really important on that emotional level to, oh, people value my work, people value my contribution, and you know, all of.
Especially when you're in the studio all day and you're working really hard and you're like, you know, do people like this? Do they, you know, how does it affect them? Because we don't see how you hang it up on your wall and you're like, I love this piece of art. We don't see that. We just think, oh, I hope people like it. So, you know, that's a way to show them that you appreciate it. So.
No, that's interesting what you just said, because private individuals, when they exhibit art in their home, the artist doesn't get to see the emotional reaction.
No.
Which is sort of that's sort of a shame. That's really a shame that they don't get to see the full impact over time of their art pieces on everyone who comes into contact with them. That's really good.
I love when people come up and tell me, you know, that they just treasure it and how they love it. And I try to remember when I collect, like, because I collect art that I like as well, you know, and every time I see it, it makes me happy, or I'll be like, oh, you know, it just makes me feel in a good mood. I try to remember people are looking at my pieces the same way. So, yeah, it's good to tell the artists that you love them, so they know this.
Cool, very important. Well, Echo, I think we're getting up towards the end of our time. Is there anything else?
No, I'll send you a bunch of links for both for artists to go and look for support. And artists, you're going to have to change the way you look. You're going to have to get more involved online, even if it's not the way you usually do, in order, because this is going to be like, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going to have to change, you're the way you think a little bit. And art lovers, the artists are going to rely on you to, you know, to help them with that, to keep them going for a longer term period of time, by doing things like supporting their Patreons, or even telling them that you love them, and sharing their links and things like that. So I'll send you links for all different resources for people to be able to take advantage of. And most importantly, stay safe and stay healthy, everyone. And just, you know, if you need to talk to people, log on to go online and you know, get the support you need, because people staying home all the time, a lot of people aren't used to staying home all the time, and get a little stir crazy. So, you know, try to get out there and keep your sanity going. Go up on the roof and make a cup of coffee. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. Well, Echo, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. So take care.
Bye.
Bye.